everyone, I'm Claire, an artist, designer and founder of the Amsterdam artist group Creators Collective. Recently I shared 2 videos documenting 3 years of the group and our exhibitions. I'll include links to those here and below. Building on those, I thought I'd present a behind-the-scenes look at my exhibition preparation. Focusing on the development of my art, from my inspiration to the materials used to the final selections, I will also include some never-before-seen artwork that I worked on but chose not to display, as well as some pieces that didn't quite work out. So join me on this journey as I reflect on 3 years of painting, curating and exhibiting. The theme of each exhibition required each artist to present the artwork closest to their heart, and this allowed me to curate from an existing collection, expand on those works, or create entirely new pieces. All of these artworks were inspired by shapes that I had discovered through bark rubbings or impressions taken from trees in 3 different parks across Amsterdam: Vondelpark, Park Frankendaal, and Flevopark. And what I found intriguing is that each park gave very different shapes. So to me, each set of paintings were distinct. So in Vondelpark, I found in the shapes some like horses and people in uniform. It seemed these shapes were like quite regal to me. The park itself was opened in the late 19th century, and it was used for wealthy Amsterdam residents to go horse riding and to stroll around. So Park Frankendaal, well, those bark rubbings, the shapes I found were like skeletal remains, bones and skulls, but also quite tribal. Yet this park wasn't troubled by any fighting or war. It was created as a rural retreat for the city merchants in the 17th century, and it's now a public park. And finally, Flavor Park. Well, this is quite a young park in comparison to the other 2, and I think that comes across in the shapes I see here. There are lots of small, energetic animals and characters. The park was opened in 1931 and it's got lots of swimming spots and places full of adventure. So let's start with some paintings from the bark rubbings of Park Frankendaal. Inspired by the shapes, I chose red often to paint with, and I selected 2 strong pieces and decided to rework them for exhibition. I'd never exhibited these before, so I was excited to see the reaction. Choosing the colors, I wanted to make sure that they would be complementary and bring strong values and depth that the piece deserved. And I think in the end, they became more striking paintings. What do you think? And looking at the rest of the original paintings from this park, I decided to balance the serious tones of the previous paintings with some fresh and earthy tones, and I took these 3 paintings. After tracing them out, I decided to duplicate this one here because I had ideas for this particular shape. I think I called this one Freddy in the end. But I ideally seen the paintings that they would be displayed as a set of 4. So I selected some warm deep yellow, leaf green, dark green, like a coffee brown and burgundy kind of brown, a prime kind of blue color and a dark blue color as the color palette. How did I choose which color to use where? Well, I let the shape and my intuition guide that decision, as well as looking at the overall balance. I also didn't want to cram all the colors into each piece, but spread these colors across all 4 paintings. Now let's journey across Amsterdam to Vondelpark and delve into the artwork I created from the trees there. Generally, the bark rubbings from this park were the most extensively explored. From these, I developed a variety of drawings and paintings, creating characters from shapes, which then evolved into street art, stamps, graphics, and pattern designs. To be honest, I might even create a separate video detailing my fascination with patterns pretty soon. So one of the first collections of drawings that I created and framed originated from this part. I used marker pens, gouache paints, or ink on plain white art paper. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you see in these artworks. Some have remarked that they resemble Japanese calligraphy known as shodo, while others have compared them to Rorschach ink blot tests. Upon examining these, I also identified characters resembling animals, people in motion, or peculiar alien-like figures. So I compiled all of these elements to digitally create a poster called Eco, inspired by the ego versus eco graphic. And some of these were further manipulated digitally into standalone characters or motifs, which then became street art, stamps, or patterns. Using the stamps I created and vibrant paint colors, I developed patterns that evolved into art, as you can see here. In addition to the originals, I wanted to present both inverted and colored versions of some of the paintings. The trio of blueprints has proven to be particularly popular, while the large inverted prints make a striking impact. So here are some of the original paintings and prints from Vondelpark at exhibitions across the years. That's it for part 1. I hope you liked it. Please subscribe or like. Part 2 is on the way or is already linked here. We're going to be covering Flavo Park and the artwork that didn't make the cut. Thanks.